Hey everyone, welcome to Brews and Views, where we enjoy great brews, home theater, and have fun making it all our own. Today we're going to be talking about the redesign of this speaker. We 3D printed this speaker with some pretty decent components from Parts Express. It turned out all right. It went together. It's a full-blown working speaker, and I messed up and did not multiply my airspace enough to compensate for the two mid drivers. So basically, it sounds horrible. It's usable. Like if you didn't know audio, you would just think, oh yeah, that sounds like a pretty okay speaker. It's very laid back in the mid-range. So today we're going to take these apart and show you multiple iterations of what I did or am attempting to do to redesign the speaker completely. All right, so let's take this apart and talk about the iterations. All right, first things first, we gotta take out these components. I've had these out previously, but basically for video sakes, I'm just showing a little bit more of the process. All right, now we're gonna show the redesigned products. Here is the binding post mount, which I've already redesigned. This is rather large, which is great because I hate having to reach in and try to tighten the binding post with no room. But this was shrank in the final design because the curve of the speaker starts to fill it before the edge of this, so there would have been a lip sticking out. So I did narrow this probably about that wide. But this is the binding post mount. I think it looks all right. It prints easy on a printer because of the way it's designed. So that's this part, binding post. Now, the iterations of the tweeter mount. I printed this one first, and I am building magnets for the speaker grill. This printed, it worked perfect, but lo and behold, it did not fit at all. I don't know how I messed that up, considering the previous speaker that I just had the correct dimensions. So bad move on my part there. So, and in general, there's always 5 iterations, it seems. Here's the second print. This actually, this just fits flawlessly as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there's nothing that's gonna be perfect, but this just looks really good. This isn't the final print. Or design, and you would ask why? Well, the magnets that were in here got magneted to the print head, and I didn't know until it tried to put the print head to rest and it couldn't move a component inside the print head. So I had to redesign it and make the holes for the magnets that are pressed in here to have a little more friction fit. So that's this. It works. The magnets work. The speaker fits. And I mean, it is a tight fit, but it does fit and it looks really good. So this is the final fascia of the tweeter mount. And that's one thing I want to mention. This is not the full speaker, obviously. And honestly, I should have cut this down in the middle to save a lot of filament while I was designing this particular part. But I messed that up in this iteration because I thought I already had all these dimensions figured out. So I didn't think I was going to have to reprint. Here's the final part. This is where I spent the most time designing. Basically, one, it didn't fit. I mean, not even close, really. Basically, pretty much didn't fit, but wasn't quite to my liking. In this iteration, I increased the depth of this inset to try to make this more flush. And once I did that, I was able to kind of see some of the, which you might not even be able to see on here. I didn't really care for the little bit of gap right here. So I continued to make multiple design iterations, technically 3 more. And just basically didn't fit. I got the depth the way I want, I believe, but it didn't fit. This one, I believe, fit, but again, I just didn't care for the surrounds. They just weren't quite all the way there. They had a little bit of gap in some of the spots. I basically took this speaker, and how I designed it is I took this circumference, because this is a circle, and then their circles, 4 of them, but I didn't really know the diameter of this, aka the fillet, and I didn't really know the angle of this, so I cheated and I basically put this flat, put a digital angle finder here, and rotated the speaker, and that gave me the exact degree of angle. So from there, I just, in a CAD design, I just created a square, created circles, created lines between this circle and made them tangent and coincidental. And then I just increased the diameter of this circle until this angle got to half of what I measured with the digital angle finder. And then that allowed me to get to this design, and it is just perfectly lined up as you could get. Like, this looks CNC'd inside of this print. So, and that's kind of what I wanted. I mean, it's not like 1000% perfect, but like I said, it is smooth. So I like this. And then I might show the design in the CAD software if anyone's interested. I'm not really sure if anybody's interested in that stuff, but I will eventually show the full speaker when I'm done. And as you can tell, lots of processing and thinking and redesigning. It takes a lot, but it's fun. So soon we will see the finished product. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, Raise a tasty brew and enjoy your next theater view.